She didn't cry. She didn't flinch. She didn't ask where her child was. Officers brought Kelly Smith back to her home in Saldana Bay. This was the same house where she had lived with Joshlin, a small, bright-eyed 6-year-old girl with beaded braids. It had been 4 days since Joshlin's disappearance was reported. For days since Kelly's boyfriend, Jack Annapolis, claimed he had left Joshlin in her care, only for the girl to vanish by the time he returned. But investigators were already suspicious. Nothing in the house showed signs of a break-in. And something about Kelly's story kept changing. Detectives watched closely as she led them to her residence. This was no longer a missing persons case. It was something darker. Something planned. And Joshlin was still nowhere to be found. Before we move forward with this disturbing story, please take a moment to comment below with the city you're watching from. Also, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel to help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers, and share it with others. Stories like this must be heard, so we can help prevent future tragedies and keep the memory of this innocent child alive. One moment, she was a 6-year-old girl playing outside her home in Mid-Delpos, Saldana Bay. The next, she vanished without a trace. Her name was Joshlin Smith. On February 19, 2024, Joshlin disappeared. Her mother, Kelly Smith, reported her missing, claiming she had left Joshlin at home while she went out. The community rallied, search parties were organized, and hope was held onto tightly. But as days turned into weeks, inconsistencies in Kelly's story began to surface. Then came a chilling revelation. A witness testified in court that Kelly admitted to selling her daughter for 20,000 rand, approximately $1,100, to a traditional healer, allegedly for the child's eyes and skin. The courtroom fell silent as the gravity of the accusation sank in. Kelly Smith, along with her boyfriend, Jack Annapolis, and their friend, Stevino van Rhyn, were arrested and charged with kidnapping and human trafficking. Despite extensive searches, Joshlin remains missing. The question that haunts everyone is, how could a mother be involved in the disappearance of her own child? Saldana Bay, a coastal town in South Africa, is known for its serene landscapes and close-knit community. Nestled approximately 120 kilometers northwest of Cape Town, it's a place where residents greet each other by name, and children play freely in the streets. In the Mid-Delpos informal settlement, life is modest. Homes are constructed from corrugated iron and wood, reflecting the economic challenges faced by many. Despite these hardships, families here share strong bonds, supporting one another through life's trials. Among the residents was 6-year-old Joshlin Smith. Described as a gentle and affectionate child, she was known for her bright green eyes and a smile that could light up a room. Her teachers at Diazville Primary School recall her as attentive and eager to learn, always holding her mother's hand tightly during school drop-offs. Joshlin lived with her mother, Kelly Smith, a single parent raising 3 children. Kelly, unemployed at the time, resided in a modest shack in Mid-Delpos. Neighbors often saw her accompanied by her boyfriend, Jack Annapolis, who was known to have a history of drug use. On February 19, 2024, Kelly reported Joshlin missing. She claimed to have left her daughter in Jack's care while she was out. Upon returning, Joshlin was gone. The community mobilized immediately, organizing search parties and distributing flyers. The South African Police Service, along with volunteers, scoured the area, but no trace of Joshlin was found. As days turned into weeks, inconsistencies in Kelly's account began to surface. Witnesses reported seeing Kelly and Joshlin entering a white vehicle on the day of the disappearance. Further investigations revealed that Kelly had allegedly discussed plans to sell her children as early as August 2023. In a shocking turn, Kelly, along with Jack and their friend Stevino van Rhyn, were arrested and charged with kidnapping and human trafficking. During the trial, a witness testified that Kelly admitted to selling Joshlin for 20,000 rand to a traditional healer, allegedly for the child's eyes and skin. The community was devastated. Many had supported Kelly during the initial search efforts, only to feel betrayed by the revelations. The case highlighted the vulnerabilities within the community and the lengths to which individuals might go under financial duress. Despite the convictions, Joshlin remains missing. Her disappearance has left an indelible mark on Saldana Bay, prompting residents to be more vigilant and protective of their children. The question that lingers is, how could a mother be involved in the disappearance of her own child? As the community continues to grapple with the tragedy, the hope remains that one day, answers will emerge and justice will be fully served. February 19, 2024. A day that began like any other in Mid-Delpos, Saldana Bay. Children played in the dusty streets, neighbors exchanged greetings, and life moved at its usual pace. But by evening, the community was gripped by a chilling realization: 6-year-old Joshlin Smith was missing. Her mother, Kelly Smith, reported that she had left Joshlin in the care of her boyfriend, Jack Apollos, while she attended to errands. Upon her return, Joshlin was gone. The community, known for its tight-knit bonds, sprang into action. Search parties were organized, flyers were distributed, and candlelight vigils were held. A neighbor later testified that 2 days before Joshlin's disappearance, Kelly had packed a cooler bag with all of Joshlin's clothes. This detail, seemingly innocuous at the time, would later cast a shadow over Kelly's narrative. As the days turned into weeks, the community's hope began to wane. The initial outpouring of support for Kelly started to shift as inconsistencies in her story emerged. Witnesses came forward, revealing that Kelly had allegedly discussed plans to sell her children as early as August 2023. The case took a darker turn when a woman testified that Kelly had admitted to selling Joshlin for 20,000 rand to a traditional healer, or sangoma, who desired the child for her eyes and skin. This revelation sent shockwaves through the community and the nation. Even after extensive searches and investigations, Joshlin remains missing. The community, once united in hope, now grapples with betrayal and grief. The question that haunts everyone is, how could a mother be involved in the disappearance of her own child? Kelly Smith, along with Jack Apollos and Stevino van Rhyn, were convicted of kidnapping and human trafficking. The courtroom, filled with community members, erupted in applause as the verdict was read. Yet, the whereabouts of Joshlin remain unknown, leaving a void that no verdict can fill. The case of Joshlin Smith serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities that exist within communities and the depths of human actions. It underscores the importance of vigilance, the need for community support, and the relentless pursuit of justice. As the community continues to seek answers, the hope remains that one day, Joshlin will be found, and the full truth will come to light. She claimed that Joshlin had been taken to West Africa in a shipping container, a story she shared with a teacher but withheld from the police. The trial culminated on May 2, 2025, with the conviction of Kelly Smith, Jack Apollos, and Stevino van Rhyn on charges of kidnapping and human trafficking. The courtroom erupted in applause as the verdict was read. Yet, the central question remains: where is Joshlin? The community holds on to hope, but the truth remains elusive. As the case concludes, one can't help but wonder, what drives a mother to such lengths? Was it pure desperation, or something more? And most importantly, will Joshlin ever be found? February 18, 2024. A white VW Polo pulls up near a modest shack in Mid-Delpos, Saldana Bay. Inside, a woman dressed in green, with white facial markings, steps out. She approaches Kelly Smith, who is holding her 6-year-old daughter, Joshlin. An exchange occurs, something small is handed over. Kelly discreetly slips it into her pants. Moments later, Joshlin is led away. She is never seen again. Witnesses later identify the woman as a traditional healer, or sangoma. The item exchanged: 20,000 rand in cash. The transaction: the sale of a child. Laurentia Lombard, a former friend and co-accused, testifies that Kelly confessed, saying, "I sold my child to a sangoma. I needed money." Further testimonies reveal that Kelly planned to distribute the money among herself, her boyfriend Jack Apollos, and their friend Stevino van Rhyn. Investigations uncover that Kelly had previously considered selling her children for as little as 5,000 rand. The community, once supportive, is left grappling with betrayal and grief. In May 2025, Kelly Smith, Jack Apollos, and Stevino van Rhyn are convicted of kidnapping and human trafficking. The case raises a haunting question: how could a mother sell her own child? And perhaps more pressing, where is Joshlin Smith? The search continues. The courtroom was packed. Every seat filled. Reporters lined the back wall. Locals stood shoulder to shoulder outside, listening through open windows. The trial of Kelly Smith, Jacquin Apollos, and Stevino van Rhyn had gripped Saldana Bay and the nation. But no one expected the twist that came next. The prosecution called its star witness, Laurentia Lombard. Once a co-accused, now a Section 204 witness, granted immunity in exchange for full disclosure. She walked to the stand slowly, eyes downcast. Then she spoke. Kelly said she was tired of being poor, Lombard testified. She said, "This is my chance." The courtroom fell silent. No one moved. No one breathed. Lombard detailed the events leading up to Joshlin's disappearance. She recounted how Kelly had confided in her about plans to sell her daughter to a Sangoma for 20,000 rand. The child, with her green eyes and light skin, was allegedly sought for ritual purposes. The defense attempted to discredit Lombard, highlighting her past drug use and inconsistencies in her statements. They suggested she was the mastermind behind Joshlin's disappearance, aiming to deflect blame onto Kelly. Despite the defense's efforts, Lombard's testimony remained consistent. She described witnessing Kelly hand over Joshlin to an unknown woman and receiving a parcel in return. She also recounted how Kelly offered her 1,000 rand to keep quiet about the transaction. As the trial progressed, the community's anger grew. The proceedings were moved to a larger venue to accommodate the public's demand for justice. Emotions ran high as testimonies unfolded, painting a grim picture of betrayal and greed. When the verdict was read, the room was dead silent. Kelly Smith, Jacquin Apollos, and Stevino van Rhyn were found guilty of kidnapping and human trafficking. Kelly broke into tears, while the courtroom audience erupted in applause. But amidst the relief, a haunting question remained: where is Joshlin? Even after conviction, none of the accused revealed her whereabouts. The child's fate remains unknown, leaving a community in mourning and a nation seeking answers. As the courtroom emptied, one voice pierced the silence: where is Joshlin? A question that continues to echo, unanswered. They've all been convicted. Kelly Smith, Jacquin Apollos, Stevino van Rhyn. Found guilty of kidnapping and trafficking 6-year-old Joshlin Smith. The courtroom heard it all: testimonies, phone records, witness statements, timelines that led nowhere and everywhere at once. The prosecution said it plainly: this wasn't a random abduction. This was premeditated, coordinated, calculated. And yet, even after all that, one truth remains unchanged. Joshlin has never been found. Not a trace. No body. No confirmed sighting. No closure. Just an empty space where a child used to laugh, sleep, dream. And the question that won't go away: where is she? The case officially closed on paper. But in the streets of Saldana Bay, it's anything but over. Missing posters still hang on telephone poles, peeling from rain. Her name is painted on the walls of her primary school: Joshlin, we miss you. In local churches, her face is printed on prayer cards. At the local clinic, her file still sits in storage. 6 years old. Taken. And never returned. For the community, her absence is a wound that keeps reopening. Neighbors remember her playing with a red skipping rope outside her grandmother's house. Teachers say she was shy, but quick to smile. A cousin told reporters she loved apples and cartoons, especially PJ Masks. Little things. Details you don't think will matter. Until the day they're all that's left. In the aftermath, the government promised action. Social workers were dispatched. Task forces were formed. A special hotline was launched. But the leads stopped coming. Each one drier than the last. Each search party more hopeless than the one before. Sometimes it only takes one voice to change everything. Joshlin Smith was 6 years old. She had a life, a routine, a family. And in one moment, it was all taken from her. We've shown you the timeline. We've followed the evidence. We've heard the verdict. But we haven't heard the full truth. And we won't stop asking until someone answers. So if you're watching this, and something doesn't sit right, don't ignore it. Tell someone you trust. Because silence protects no one. Too many children go missing in South Africa each year. Too many families are left with only photographs and questions. Too many communities carry the weight of crimes that should have been prevented. Joshlin's story isn't rare. But that doesn't make it acceptable. We are better than this. We have to be. If you believe this child deserves justice, help us keep her name alive. Share this video. Let it reach the inbox of someone who remembers something they've never shared. Let it sit in the feed of someone who might know a piece of the puzzle. Comment your thoughts. What do you believe happened to Joshlin? What stood out to you in this case? And more importantly, how do we make sure this doesn't happen again? Subscribe to this channel, Crime and Tragedy Watch. Because this is not just about crime. It's about the people left behind. It's about real stories that deserve more than a headline and a moment. Joshlin's voice was silenced. But ours doesn't have to be. We speak for her now. And we won't stop. So once more, if you know anything about Joshlin Smith's disappearance, if you saw something, heard something, or suspect something, step forward. She deserves that. She deserves more than this. Thank you so much for staying with this video until the end. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel to help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. And a heartfelt thank you to everyone who's already subscribed to the channel, and keep engaging with us. Your contribution truly keeps this work going and inspires me to continue bringing you more in-depth investigations. I appreciate each and every one of you.